The common perception of a quality education is that you need lots of money. Is that really true? It's yes and no.
Right.
We have seen people who have less, but they are able to educate their children. But we also have seen people who have more, but struggle to put their kids in school.
What's the difference?
Stay tuned to find out. Hello once again, and welcome to another edition of G Lifesaver Talks. I'm Joe Raj.
And I'm Aaron G.
Today we're going to talk about a matter that is very close to our heart: quality education. Right now, Aaron, I think as parents, right, the greatest gift that we want to give to our children is good and quality education.
That's right. I mean, I remember, I think my parents, I'm sure every parent out there, right, they always tell that they equate education is the key to your success.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And of course, we all know it's true because not only it uplifts a person, it also gives you social mobility.
That's right.
To basically climb up the ladder, chase your dreams, finance your life goals, have the life that we all dream for.
That's right.
So that is education.
Correct. And we have seen so many parents go out of their way to make sure that their children get good and quality education. They will do whatever it takes.
Exactly.
And they will work extra hard, right? I mean, how many examples have we seen, of parents, undivided sacrifice,
right?
Just to make sure their kid does well in life through education.
But the reality is very different, folks.
Correct.
Right.
So today, we're going to talk about the 4 myths that people have about education planning that every parent fail. Now, the myth number 1, I will manage the cost somehow lah.
Correct.
I'll get there lah. Right. Now, myth number 2, I have a single savings pool for all my goals, and that's enough.
That's right. One for all for one.
One for all for one.
That's right.
Now, myth number 3, I got plenty of time to save.
That's right.
Right. And myth number 4, at the end of the day, got loans and scholarship, they can bring my children safely home.
That's right.
So these are the 4 myths that we're going to talk about. Let's go straight to the first myth. I'll manage the cost somehow. How many times have we heard this, Evan? We meet parents and we have coffees with so many parents.
That's right.
And when the topic of education comes up and when we ask them, okay, what's your plan?
Right.
I don't know, but I'll manage lah.
That's right. That's right. You see, from my experience, Joe, when I hear a parent talk like that, right? So the truth is, they don't have a plan.
Right.
They don't have a plan. Let's face it, right? But because of their love, because they know that it's important, right? They will somehow then wing it. Right. So this is what we call the wing it method. Right. So we will just leave it right till the end, and miraculously everything will fall in place.
Right.
And I will go through. Every parent's mind will say, I'll go through, thick and thin. The 7 C's to see my parent, to see my children through. But there's no plan where to start.
Correct.
There's no beginning.
Correct.
There's no ending.
It's almost like leaving it to chance lah.
That's right. Exactly. It's gambling.
It's really taking a big risk.
Yeah.
I know that I'll work hard. I want to make sure that my children is gonna get good quality education, but I'll get that.
Right.
There is no specifics. There's no detailed breakdown. There is no timeline.
Right. And to be fair, Joe, that every parent's love cannot be underestimated. Right.
Of course.
So there are a lot of hardworking Malaysian parents that actually go to the mills day in, day out, and they do save.
Right.
But the problem is when the money they save is eroded with factors like inflation.
That's right. That's right.
$1 today is not the same with $1 20 years down the road.
That's right.
That's why having a plan and not winging it is important, to make sure that the money is utilized to its maximum capacity.
Correct.
And that's why a specific plan is needed for this to happen.
Yes. I agree, Aaron, and I think folks, you already know that we are in inflation right now.
That's right.
And it's already catching up with time. As Aaron said correctly, the value of our ringgit is not the same 20 years ago.
Right.
And with inflation, it's, we will find that our savings will be eroded with time.
That's right. Folks, work hard for your money, but there is going to be a time where you need your money to work hard for you.
That's right.
And that's where the plan comes in.
That's right. So that's myth number 1. Now,
right.
Myth number 2, I have a single savings pool for all my needs, and that is enough.
That's right.
I mean, with all due respect, friends, this is not the right way to go. And we will explain to you why. This is, and I think this is very common, right, Evan?
Right.
Everybody has a savings pool, but it's one saving pool for multiple needs.
Right. And just to give you an example to contrast this, right? Now, almost every working Malaysian has an EPF account.
Right.
Right. In my experience, Joe, when I ask them, what is your retirement plan? EPF. What is your education plan? EPF.
Yes.
What is your backup emergency plan? EPF. So everything is EPF. So when this happens, right, you are basically double dipping, triple dipping,
correct,
on the same cookie jar.
Right. And thinking that the cookie jar is bottomless, right?
Exactly.
And thinking that it will replenish itself. And that's not entirely accurate, guys.
Right. And out of 10 Malaysian parents that I interview, right, Joe, when I talk to them about the education plan and even their retirement plan, because both of them are interlinked, right? And most of them tell me, Aaron, if there is going to be a need to supplement my children's education plan, the primary financing method will come from the EPF. Right. Because why? When my child enters university, right, by hook or by crook, they need to be educated, right? So a parent can be 50 years old, right? Maybe I need 100,000, right? So what I do, I will upfront my retirement fund to my child, right? And guess what? The child goes to university, correct?
Right.
But the next question is, what happens to my retirement?
That's right.
So that's where the hole is left. Because as a parent, as far as my child is educated, right, the rest is not important, right? So you're basically shifting the hole to another timeline.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
So this is what happens when you use a single savings pool and you use it blanketly for all needs. So this is what happens, especially education.
Yeah. And we are already in a phase where there has been multiple EPF withdrawals already.
Right. That's right.
And on top of that, if you are going to use that for your child's education, then your retirement, seriously, friends, is in big danger.
Right. And to have a silver lining, right? Malaysians are generally, they are good savers. Right. They're very good savers, right? So at least you got something that you can hold on to. But don't stop there. Don't stop there. You need to know, okay, I'm saving this money. How can I make this money work harder for me? How can it do good for my children, my retirement, right? So it cannot be just stand still. So that's what Malaysians have to do right now. Not only that you're a good saver, but you need to also be good in growing your money.
Correct. And the thing is, as you said, Evan, we love to save.
Right.
We understand the importance to save.
That's right.
But we don't have a specific plan or a specific goal.
That's right.
The word savings is general and it's all universal. It is for everything.
That's right.
We don't allocate a specific fund just for education.
Exactly.
Or a specific fund just for retirement. Or a specific fund for medical. We don't do that. We put everything in one pot, hoping that pot will sustain long enough for every expense.
And Joe, usually the last need is always shortchanged.
Correct.
Right? Because if you're going to use your EPF, for example, for child's education, buy a house, buy a car, or whatever, right? And guess what? You reach retirement at 60, what is left? It's thereabouts.
Bare minimum, guys.
Correct. So this is what happens when you do this thing, a single channel. The last thing that you're supposed to use the money for is often shortchanged. In this case, your retirement is going to be affected.
This is why we see a lot of tendency of Malaysians working beyond 65 because they don't have enough to support themselves.
Yeah, that's where the term working retirement comes in.
That's right. So guys, please be aware of this myth.
That's right.
This is a myth and it's not a fact.
That's
now,
right.
Myth number 3, and this is again a very common myth, Aaron.
That's right.
I've got plenty of time. My child is just born, so I've got 17 years. I've got 18 years. Oh, we don't have children yet, so we still have time to plan. Guess what, guys? Time can really fastly run out.
Okay, now this is a very common procrastination, right, by a lot of people, right? So this is not something new, and it's not going to end, right?
Right.
Now there is a saying that goes this, right, Joe? If you understand the law of compounding interest, right, which is compounding your money over time, you will earn from it.
Of course,
right?
Of course.
But if you don't understand it, if you don't apply it properly, most probably we have to pay more for it, right? So what it means is very simple, right? Remember I mentioned to you about $1 today?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's not the same dollar.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So $1 today obviously is going to be a lot more.
Yes.
Right? So
yes.
you have a choice. If you have 1 ringgit of savings today, right? Whether it's going to be 2 ringgit or 3 ringgit in 20 years down the road really depends where you put your money and how you grow your money. Now, to illustrate this, let me show you a simple calculation, right? So this is where I will show you my iPad screen, right? Now, let's assume that you have 10,000 ringgit a year.
Right.
Okay. To save in, let's say, an investment plan that gives you 7% per annum. Right. Now, let's say you just had a newborn. All right. Being an excited parent, you want to make sure that you prepare for his or her education. Right. So let's assume that you have 18 years to go. Right. Now, then by the end of 18 years, you would have approximately 340,000 ringgit.
Wow. Sounds like a big sum.
Sounds good, right? Okay, sounds good. Now, what happens if you say, nah, I think I have time because 18 years is very long. Maybe I'll do it next year. Right. So let's change 18 years to 17 years. Right. And what happens? Now, suddenly, the fund shrinks from 340 to 308,000. Now,
that's a significant loss.
A delay of just 1 year.
Just 1 year, guys.
Right? Has brought down the fund by how much? 32,000?
Correct.
Just for 1 year. Right? So you see the law of compounding interest, right? If we take advantage of it, you will earn that 32,000.
Correct. And I think it's because of the fact that people don't really know.
That's right.
That this is actually possible, that you can make your ringgit work harder for you over time.
That's right. So you see, now what happens if you delay another year, right? Because you wanted to buy the car that you want, right? Example, right? Now what happens? You see, now it drops to 278,000. A delay of 2 years instead of 340,000 is 278. That's a loss
Even
of
more.
How much?
Sizable.
Yeah, that's about 60,000, right?
Correct.
62,000. So that's a lot, right? Now, if I bring it down to 15, then you're talking about almost a 90,000. This is the concept of time value money. This is what we talk about, making your money work hard enough by starting early.
Wow.
This is why we say that you must have a plan, right? And that plan has to be specific, and it has to make sure that your money works harder for you. So I just showed you, even a year delay costs you that much.
Wow. It's amazing the quantum of the drop. And it's actually very scary. Basically, it's very scary. Now, guys, I know one of the common problems with us Malaysians is we are just so last minute. We love to keep things last minute.
That's right.
Sometimes I even think that it's a thrill. We are so we are so pumped with that adrenaline and want to do this last minute just for the thrill-seeking event of it. And I think that that's not right, especially when you put your life and your children's life at risk. And on top of that, I think I can also mention this, Evan, that when you say you have a lot of time, this is assuming that everything is smooth sailing,
hunky-dory.
Yeah, that nothing's going to be happening to you in the next 17 years. You're going to be fine. You're going to be healthy. You're going to be working smoothly. You're going to be having a guaranteed amount of returns.
That's right.
Guaranteed income. All this is not guaranteed, guys.
That's right. Life will throw you many lemons, right?
Correct. So in fact, if I were you, I would be thinking, I don't really have a lot of time. I need to be ready for any eventuality.
And in fact, Joe, if you do have time, means what? Means you have the advantage to get more for less.
Correct.
Which we just proved just now.
Correct.
You can get more for less if you start early.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right. I think that is probably the most, this myth is probably the most important that people need to understand.
That's right.
That they think that they still have
time. Yeah.
Now, moving on to the final myth. Loans and scholarships are always there, man.
Wow.
Now, guys, be honest. When I went into university, there wasn't a lot of loans. There wasn't PTPTN, right? And seriously, my parents had to fork up a lot of money to pay for the first semester fee alone. Only later on I applied for some loans and scholarship and I got it. But that came only in the third semester. Now, of course, now there seems to be a lot of accessibility. And at one time, PTPTN was covering 100% of your study loans.
But no more.
Now, no more.
Yeah.
You have to put in a certain amount of sum as upfront fee, and PTPTN will only cover a certain percentage of the study loan. Now, the thing here is that is also not guaranteed. For now, it's yes, a certain amount, but by the time when your child goes to university, what's the assurance that the percentage is still the same?
Yes, Joe. To add to that, right now, I think compared to during our time and now, the environment has changed a lot, right? It's a lot more competitive now than during our time, right? So the number of spaces, right, for scholarships are thereabouts,
right?
Which means supply is limited, demand is ever increasing. The population is increasing, so on and so forth. So the chances of your children to even get scholarship is lower today than it was 20 years ago. That's a fact.
That's right.
Right. Even loans, right? PTPN is finding it difficult to manage, because people are paying back as fast.
Yes,
right?
That's another problem.
That's another problem, but that's for another video, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is that loans is definitely an option compared to the chance of you getting loans are higher.
It's better than scholarship, right? Yeah.
But there are many other eligibility factors. All right. Meaning, can you even find a guarantor? Right. And today to find a guarantor is not easy. So there are so many other factors.
That's right.
So or not to mention good results and all that stuff. Right. And then you have expensive courses like medicine and engineering. Right. That that is causing a burden for the students who graduated. The first thing they have to service is a huge loan.
Yes.
Can you imagine? You're taking 300,000, 400,000 loan for medicine, right? You don't even earn a single cent, Joe, right? And then you have to pay the next 10, 20 years on a monthly basis.
Right.
And that is not even including your daily expenses. So it's actually a burden. And this is not something that is only for Malaysians. It's a global phenomenon.
Correct. I was just about to say that. Thank you for bringing that up. It's something that is not specific to just Malaysia.
That's right.
And let's be very honest. We also want to have our desires to send our children overseas. Now, if you want to send your children overseas, they are definitely going to be more expensive than the education cost in Malaysia.
Sure.
Now, the education cost in Malaysia is already expensive. What more the education cost in overseas? Now, on top of that, friends, we are if you are assuming that the inflation rate is going to be the same throughout the 17 years, you're also mistaken.
Right.
It's going to increase. So all these external factors are going to compound the cost even further.
Exactly. And that's the reason why we must have a solution. Right. Now, it might not be a foolproof solution because we don't have a crystal ball here, right?
Yes.
But if there is a plan, folks, right? If you place certain plans, then you amend it slowly but surely along the way. So by the time you reach, to the point of need, you don't have to scuffle around.
Correct.
You don't have to sell a leg in a limb.
You don't need to press the panic button.
Exactly.